Saloon Cars Racing proudly presented by Rightway Industrial, Bailey Brewing Company, Fox Roofing WA, Adrenaline Performance and Fabrication, Word of Mouth Signs, and Auto One Morley.
For the last time in 2025 for Rightway Industrial, our saloon cars out on track, and this is going to be an absolute ripper with Chris Neefsey and Jackson Callow on the front row. Jackson carrying our onboard camera for Turn 7 Media, Rob Marcon and Brett Sheriff on the second row, Brock Ralph and Daniel Karukin on the third row, Tyson Sadler and Reg Ralph. Then we have Gary Hills fighting back from that big off in race number 2, which was actually race number 1 for the day. Adam Koberstein, Justin Chaffee, Terry De Silva, Jack Parham, Peter Dybel and Ken Power in car number 24 round out a bit of a depleted field after a huge incident in race number 1 this morning that was declared a non-event.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big shout out to Rightway Industrial as well, the main sponsor of this category for 2025. And they're a group that have been behind saloon cars here in Western Australia for many, many, many years. And great to see once again that they've been supporting this category in 2025. So thank you very much on behalf of all the saloon car guys and all of us here who enjoy watching the saloon car racing to Rightway Industrial.
Look at Chris Neefsey already sitting on pole position. You reckon he's pretty proud he's there about 25 minutes early. Everybody else is still coming down, not even into turn 7, and Chris is sitting there waiting.
He would have had a smile on his face from ear to ear after that last event, and finally having gotten some success with this car, and I reckon he'll be out there wanting to do exactly the same thing in this race, and he's going to be next to Callow, as you mentioned, with the camera in the car, so that's going to be great to watch. Rob Marcon has gone from pole position earlier in the day right the way back there to 3rd position, and of course Brett Sheriff, I think it's debut for him, isn't it, in saloon cars today?
No, he has been here before in the previous race meeting.
Okay.
And just realising out of the first 3 rows, 5 out of the 6 are Falcons.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is, because Falcons used to always be behind the ball here at Carco. Always used to be a circuit that the Commodores did well at, but it seems to have really changed in the last couple of seasons. Red light is on.
And away we go, and it's a good start to Neefsey as well. Look at the second row start from Brett Sheriff. He's got in front of Marcon, so he grabs 3rd position. Marcon will have to settle for 4th. Jackson Callow trying to run around the outside of Neefsey. You're not going to do it in turn number 1 on lap number 1. What can he do with Neefsey as they head up and over the hill for the first time?
He gives a little bit of a tap on the back of Neefsey's bumper 3/4 of the way through the corner there, just to let Neefsey know that he's there. But yeah, that was a wicked start then from Brett Sheriff off the 4th grid position and to get in front of Rob Marcon. So they're disappearing over the top of the hill for the first time. We'll catch them up on the screen and watch them as they all head line astern down into turn 6 for the first time.
Unfortunately, Rick Gill not here this weekend.
No, unfortunate that we don't see Rick out there. And yeah,
well, here we go.
have a few of them that are missing. So here's our car camera, car number 222 with Jackson 225, sorry, with Jackson Callow at the wheel, right on the tail of our race leader Neefsey as they come down to turn 7. Will he try an inside move? He's just ducked into the inside, but he's not close enough. And he's not going to be able to get down the inside of Neefsey then, who slows it right down in the middle of the corner, so he can't do the over and under as well. And back onto the straight they come. So it's Neefsey from Callow, then back to Marcon, Sheriff, Brock Ralph, Reg Ralph, and then a good battle back further between Sadler and Karukin. Karukin on the inside is going to take that position too. Great
onboard shots from Jackson Callow as he tries to do something about Chris Neefsey just in front of him as Karukin slides underneath Tyson Sadler in the Kmart car, in car number 36. Back up towards the front of the field again. Neefsey still by 1 car length over 225 of Callow. Then we have Marcon and Sheriff. Brock Ralph being harassed now by his father in car number 41.
Yeah, it's good to see the Ralphs on the track together. They'll have a good chat tonight over dinner, so that'll be something that you'd be good to be a fly on the wall for. But just waiting for the leaders to once again come out of turn 6, and that gap is probably a little bit more than it was last lap, only by about a car length. But over the top of the hill they come, and Neefsey looks like he's got this one pretty much under control again. Not much that Callow's been able to do over the last lap or so. Pulls right up onto his tail under brakes. But again, that elastic, cars look closer together when it's a second gap between them when they're going slower than it does when they're faster.
Still 1 car length between first and second, but this battle between Sadler and Karukin is on again, and Gary Hills now right behind Daniel Karukin.
Lock up for Nisi going into turn 1 that time, and Jackson Callow managed to get his nose down the inside, but he got it chopped off halfway around the corner by Nisi. That's also allowed Marcon to get back onto the back of these guys, and it's really now close going up through turn 4.
So we'll probably go back on board with our onboard camera very shortly and see from Jackson Callow's perspective of how hard it is to get around somebody here at carco.com.au Raceway as they're heading up and over the top of the hill and down in towards turn 6.
Yeah, absolutely, and some little battles happening a little bit further back. We've still got that battle happening between Karukin and Sadler, and Hills also starting to get involved in that. And of course, Hills was one of the guys who started off the front of the grid earlier in the race, but had an off in the last race there at turn 6. So he's still recovering from that as we watch Sadler just get a couple of wheels in the dirt on the exit of turn 6, and he's right on the tail of Karukin, but he's also got Hills right on his tail as well. Hills looks like he wants to try to get past, pulls to the inside, but then just thinks better of it, and tucks back in behind car 36, the Kmart Racing lookalike car.
Yeah, Tyson Sadler ducks in behind Daniel Karukin again. Now we go back on board for our live stream viewers, and this is going to be a sensational lap of carco.com.au Raceway as we're on board with Jackson Callow as he tries to do something about car number 5 of Chris Neefsey. We're in the left-hander, heading up the hill now towards the blind right-hander at the top of the hill. Is there going to be a move on down here into turn number 6? As he just adjusts the mirror, so he's obviously getting some grief now from Robbie Marcon. Leaves the entry to the last possible moment, now trying to run up the inside of Chris Neefsey. They're going to come over the hill pretty much side by side.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be really gentle on the throttle coming out of that corner. You light the tyres up and you lose the back end of the car and you lose the ultimate speed down the straight. And he hasn't done that. He's done a great job down there. Look at Neefsey under brace. He's only got the one tail light by the looks of it. That's all he needs. Doesn't clip the curb there. Gets very light and gets out onto the outside of the curb on the exit of turn 7. But he's right on the tail now as they head down into turn 1. He looks to the inside but then pulls back in behind Neefsey again. No move happening down there. And as you mentioned, had to adjust his mirror because he's got Rob Marcon right on his tail as well.
And we've had a few comings together between Callow and Marcon in season 2025. So let's hoping for a clean race here as our top 3 starting to skip away from Brett Sheriff and then the 13 of Brock Ralph.
Yep, and then it's back to this battle that's been going on for the entire event, which is Reg Ralph, who's leading Karukin just in front of Sadler, who's got Hills right on his tail, almost wanting to climb into his boot lid at the moment, and doing everything that he can to try to get past. And I've got to be honest and say that's a brilliant job from Tyson Sadler to keep Gary Hills behind, because Gary's a pretty hard charger.
There we go, down into turn number 6, and a good look from Jackson Callow up the inside as Robbie Marcon runs very wide and just about ran off the racetrack. That's going to cost him any chance of second place at the moment at Jackson Callow in car number 225 as he tries to hunt down Chris Neefsey. It's gone back out to a car length. We're down to 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining.
Jackson Callow trying the old turn the headlights on trick to try to put Chris Neefsey off. Chris Neefsey's been around this place for a long time. I don't think that's going to work with him, but nonetheless, different lines coming out of turn 1. Jackson Callow letting the car drift quite wide, whereas Neefsey kept the car tucked in, so just different ways of getting around. And once again, Callow tucked right in on the inside of turn 4, tries to get his nose in, but that's been covered again by car 5, our leader in Chris Neefsey. Fast man on the track at the moment is Jackson Callow. He's done a 66.59, still about a second and a half outside the lap record.
I'm wondering whether Neefsey's tyres are nearly shot because he's changing his lines, trying to keep the car straight as possible, and that's going to allow Jackson Callow as he runs wide on the exit of turn number 6. This is going to be Jackson Callow's best opportunity to have a crack at Chris Neefsey as they come up and over the top of the hill and down towards turn number 7, and it's still status quo, but Jackson Callow looking very ominous now as I believe Neefsey's car is starting to struggle.
Yeah, and yet it was Callow who went outside the line that time, and he'll get one strike against his name for being off the circuit there at the exit of turn 7. But I wonder whether or not Neefsey's got a new engine in that car, because it's got plenty of mumbo in a straight line, and he seems to be able to drag away from the the car behind him in a straight line. So Callow seems to be a little bit better at the moment under brakes, because I think quite rightly, I think that you'll find that Neefsy's car is starting to get a little bit loose in the back end.
Yeah.
And so he's got the advantage in the corners, but Neefsy seems to have plenty of ground in a straight line, and he pulls that gap back out again.
It's good when you've got a problem and you can kind of drive around it, because you've got the horsepower up the front.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a bit of a luxury, isn't it?
Absolutely. As we watch the battle over the top of the hill there between Reggie Ralph, Daniel Karukin, Tyson Sadler and Gary Hills, and that's still well and truly alive too. So keep your eyes on that as well as they head down into turn 6 at the moment, and that could turn out to be anybody's event as well. But race leaders back into sight once more, and that gap's still around about a car and a half's gap as they come down to turn 7, and Rob Marcon also not being able to make any impact on the lead at the moment either.
No, he had that bit of Nillian off down there in turn number 6, and that really cost him about 50 metres as they cross over the line and reel off another lap. We're down to 1 minute and 7, so we should probably get another 2 laps out of this one. What's going to happen this time out of turn number 1?
Sadler's managed to get past Reg Ralph, but Reg fighting back again down to turn number 1, and he gets his nose down the inside, but he's going to get it chopped off. He's not going to get down there, and still Gary Hills is not being able to make any progress. Daniel Karukin starting to drive away from this battle now, and they're going to start to fall into the clutches of Adam Koverstein, who's back there in the hydrogen car, and he's starting to catch up onto the back of this battle as well.
Yeah, Gary Hills was in second place coming into today for our last round, round 6 of the West Australian Sporting Car Club Racing Championships. So this is looking very good for Jackson Callow at the moment. He's just got to keep circulating and not do anything stupid here. A 106.59 for Jackson Callow, but 106.62, 3/100ths of a second between first and second, and now Robbie Marcon's joined the party.
He has, and look at the way that Neefsy's car just got very, very twitchy through the mid part of the corner. They've just managed to get along across the line with 3 seconds remaining to be able to get another lap in. So it'll be 2 more laps in this event. So really closed up at the front. Once again, Callow almost into the back bumper bar of car 5 of Neefsy there out of turn 1. But this is anyone's race now, Vaughan.
It certainly is. 3 Falcons doing the business out in front. They have driven away from Brett Sheriff. And then we go back to Brock Ralph in the first of the Commodores. There's a bit of a look up there on the top of the hill for Jackson Callow, looking to go underneath Chris Neefsy across the top of the hill, maybe lining him up for an inside run down here into 6. Neefsy moves across and blocks that, and all this time, Rob Marcon still right there in the mix.
Yep, absolutely. If you block that going in, you're going to be slower coming out. And look at the way that Callow's right on his tail. I tell you what, if Neefsy manages to survive this last lap as we watch Marcon go past Jackson Callow in a straight line into second position down at the bottom of the hill, I was about to say, if Neefsy manages to survive this last lap and takes this, he goes to the top of my pick for today's Competition Drivers Club Driver of the Day, because he's driven magnificently under a hell of a lot of pressure out there at the moment as we watch Marcon take a line that's a little bit narrower into turn 1 to stop Callow getting back down the inside, and that's going to mean that he'll be slower on the exit, but he seems to make that position his own, and he's doing very well in second position.
Well, for the last time in 2025, through turn number 4 and up and over the top of the hill, and these guys have pretty much been the class of 2025, and you can throw Gary Hills in there when he was on song. But look at them across the top of the hill, and looks like Jackson Callow's trying to line up Rob Marcon again. Marcon and Neefsy both go defensive. That's going to give Jackson Callow a good run out of turn number 6 for the last time. Neefsy has Marcon all over the back of him, and there's only like 3 feet between them.
Yeah, they'll be side by side almost over the top of the hill. Marcon on the outside, so he's got a lot of work to do out there. Neefsy on the inside, he's got the easier trick. He's going to slow it right down so they can't get back down the inside and do the over and under.
Jackson
Callow's trying to come down the inside. It's going to be 3 wide almost as they come across the line.
Whoa.
Just going to be Neefsy across the line in front of Marcon back to Callow.
Wow, what a finish. And fastest lap time for that last lap was a 106.3 by Rob Marcon. Wow.
Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant race. Put your hands together for these guys. And a little bit further back, a great finish also to Brett Sheriff and Brock Ralph, but also hands together for Daniel Karukin, who's had a difficult day with that incident in the first event and managed to come back to finish 6th. So that's a great effort from him. Then back to Tyson Sadler, Reg Ralph, just managing to finish in front of Gary Hills, Adam Koberstein, then back to Parnham, Chafee, De Silva, Power and Dybel at the back of the field in what has been a magnificent race for the Saloon cars.
And pretty much we can call this one now that the Saloon Car Pro Champion for 2025 goes to Jackson Callow in the Ford Falcon.
Yep, car 225.
Coming home in third place. He had a significant lead over Gary Hills, who finished back in ninth position after a 10th in the previous race. And, of course, there was no race one this morning. So when he comes back up and over the top of the hill, he's moved down now, just getting the congratulations of his fellow competitors. I would suggest everybody's had their eye on the point score throughout the day, and pretty easy to say that Adam Koberstein wins the Pro-Am category. So 2 champions coming down the hill at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, down there in McCracken House, put your hands together for Jackson Callow, driver of car number 225. He's got the hand out the window. He's fully aware of that win, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of tyre smoking burnouts happening here.
Yeah, well,
I would say Adam Koberstein's probably going to do the same thing.
Yeah, being a good competitor, I've already read the supplementary regulations for this weekend, and they are allowed to do burnouts if they've won the state championship. So that's what we're going to be looking forward to doing, and they've been very sensible in letting all the rest of the competitors get past and get back into the paddock area before they decide to let loose.
So well done to Adam Koberstein, who I also believe is Australia 1 for this year. He won that a couple of months ago over East.
Yep, he did indeed.
So, 2 champions out there on the track at the moment. Everybody else now in the pit area. Time to get a little bit silly here at carco.com.au Raceway. Jackson Callow and Adam Koberstein.
Tell you what, they've been pretty good mathematicians in their cars working all that out as well.
I'd say they were looking at the point score and... some big skids. Unfortunately, Jackson car doesn't look like it's set up to do skids.
No, it doesn't at all. It's a Falcon. It should be able to do good skids.
He's got the hand out the window. He's a happy boy. Adam's finished.
But I tell you what, it doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. You're pretty happy this weekend because you've got a win for a Falcon and a win for a Commodore. So you've got the Holden and the Ford both taking out the championships.
Yeah, well done. So Adam Koberstein driving for Hydrolink. He moves back up into the paddock area. There'll be some big celebrations happening here tonight. And don't forget to join us down in McCracken House about half an hour after the completion of the final race. Come down and enjoy the celebrations with us as we do our trophy presentations. And
Adam Koberstein's joined me right now. He's the winner for the 2025 Pro-Am Championship when it comes to saloons. Congratulations, Adam. You must be absolutely stoked with the result. 2 years running, number 1.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Put in hard work all year. The VP went good all year, faultless, not a single issue. Paid off.
Mate, tell me about your team. Who's supporting you? Who's keeping you on the track? And how much thanks do you want to bestow upon them for your win this year?
It's a bit of everyone. It's all the family, wife. Hydrolink Wangara, he does all the sponsoring for me, so massive shout out to him. My old man at West Coast Cylinder Heads, he does the motor, so a bit of a hot rod, so it's good.
So what's the plan for next year, Adam? You got a 3rd championship belt under in your sights?
Unfortunately not. I'm actually stepping up to the pro class, so I'll run with the big boys and see what we can do.
Mate, I look forward to seeing you next year. Thanks very much for your time and congratulations again. Well done.
Thank you.
Back to you, Vaughan.
Saloon Cars Racing proudly presented by Rightway Industrial, Bailey Brewing Company, Fox Roofing WA, Adrenaline Performance and Fabrication, Word of Mouth Signs, and Auto One Morley.